What is going on, everyone? It's your guy, Cole Jackson, back here on Road Graders, brought to you today on the Russell Street Report, courtesy of DNL Tinting. Go check out dltinting.com and russellstreetreport.com to go check out all the services DL Tinting can provide you. Multiple locations around the Baltimore area, dltinting.com. We are going to be talking about Odafe Oweh and specifically taking a look at some of his production. As you can see here, in the last 2 weeks. This is charted by PFF, so I know he had technically 3 sacks in the game. They charged him with 2. They gave the third sack to Brandon Stevens. We'll kind of see why here when we take a look at it. But 2 sacks based on PFF's charting, 5 QB hits, 12 total pressures. You can call it 3 sacks, 5 QB hits, 13 total pressures if you prefer. But then when we look at weeks 5 to 9, so those 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's 5 games, 1 sack, 2 QB hits, 8 total pressures. So the real question that I want to take a look at is why. What did he do differently in the last 2 weeks that is allowing him to be more productive? Specifically, what we're going to be focusing on is his hand placement, his use of his hands, and avoiding those what I call dead rushes, where he's essentially 2-hand bull rush on the shoulder pads, just nothing really happening in terms of developing a pass rush plan. And that's been the biggest issue when we see these inconsistent stretches from Odafe Oweh. And then when you see him being more productive, you can see better hand placement, better setup rushes, specifically setting up his speed rush, the outside rush, and how he can branch off of that. So really good to see in the last 2 weeks, but we want to see him be more consistent. So before we jump into it, hit that like button for me, hit subscribe if you're new here, and drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of Odafe Oweh so far, specifically with the 5th-year option coming up. We know we've already picked it up. He'll be back on the 5th-year option. What do you think is kind of the long-term prospect of Odafe Oweh as a Raven? Let's get into the film. Okay, so we are going to start here. We're going to be going between games against the Steelers and the Bengals, and we're going to start off with some of his really strong plays. So left side of your screen here, across from Pat Freiermuth, is going to be going against Dan Moore Jr., their left tackle. And we're going to see him get upfield. And right there, this is the type of stuff. This is what I want to see a lot more of Odafe Oweh. So first off, before we get into the pass rush movie has here, one thing I've really liked seeing from Oweh when he's playing at his best is how he threatens vertically. So you can see right off the snap, he's moving more upfield rather than directly on a 45-degree angle. So he has to take a bit of an instep because the tight end is there. But as he moves up, you can see his whole plan off the snap is to threaten that outside hand. And so what he does here is he uses his skip step. And this is something that if you watch my videos last year, I used to talk about Jadeveon Clowney doing a ton of. So he's going to get into that skip step and he's going to use his inside hand. So always left hand on the right side of your screen, but his left hand. And he's going to essentially pair the skip step with that inside hand pushing down on the offensive tackle's outside hand. So left hand on left hand. And you can see right there, by doing that, it opens up that corner and he creates a short corner. So he uses his pass rush move to create a short corner. And it's really that jump with that inside hand to, because as soon as he brings his arm across, so as soon as Oweh's inside arm comes across, he can then push down with his right hand. But what it does is it gets his inside shoulder around the outside shoulder of the offensive tackle, and that's what creates the short corner. You can see it makes the tackle lean, and then he can just dip. So as soon as he hits, he dips, and there's that flexibility and that explosiveness to get around the corner. So that, to me, that's a high-quality pass rush win. That's the type of stuff I want to see a lot more of. See another one here. Again, he's going to threaten vertically, threaten that outside shoulder, and right there, as soon as he gets in, he's going to push down on the shoulder pad and create that lane for himself. So creating a short corner in a different way for the second sack. So we'll take a look at the third sack here in a minute, or what PFF didn't chart as a third sack, but these are the 2 high quality sacks to me. So again, he's going to threaten vertically, and then once he gets, he's going to give up his chest, but he does that purposely because he's shooting his hands inside low to push down. As he pushes down, he creates that short corner. And again, that bend that he has is probably the most underrated part about his game, because he's going to plant his inside foot, his right foot in this case, in and turn the corner at the same time. And that requires, you can see he almost slips there because that's a hard corner to turn. But these edge guys are so athletic nowadays. So super impressive win there from Oweh. It, to me, the big difference is just using his hands better and having an actual pass rush plan. So when I say pass rush plan, it's, he's going to consistently threaten vertically and try and threaten that outside. And you can see it throughout the other reps as well. But he'll threaten vertically, threaten that outside hand of the offensive tackle, and then use his hand placement, rips, swats, that sort of thing. That was more of like a snatch almost, where he's going to give up his chest but snatch inside and create that short corner for himself. And we saw something similar against the Bengals. So this was about a second away from, not even a second, about a half second away from a sack and potentially a strip sack, given it's coming from the blind side. But we're going to see that same skip step here against the Bengals last week. See right there, skip step, and same idea. He's going to use that inside left hand to skip and claw down on that hand, create that short corner. And just a half second, that ball comes out quick. It does go incomplete, almost a fumble. But even where you can see Oweh contacts Burrow, I saw people complaining that he didn't swat the football, but like he tackled the back throwing arm of Burrow going for the strip sack. I suppose he could have reached in and tried to swat the ball. Hard to say. Tougher move coming off. I think people don't realize how tough it is to turn this corner, because he's skip stepping upfield and then he needs to turn the corner. It's not like he has a direct 45-degree angle. We can watch it right here. He turns the corner right about the 4-yard line. Burrow's between the 2 and 3-yard line. Top of his drop, he gets as low as the 1. As he turns the corner, he's almost directly, not perpendicular, parallel? I don't know. Directly parallel with him. So he's just focusing, and you can see his foot as he's still turning the corner is almost at the goal line. So he's still bending the edge while he's trying to get to Burrow. So he's more focused on, let's just make sure I contact him and I don't miss outside, because he's still turning the corner. And that's what people don't really understand when they see this. That skip step carries your momentum upfield. So when he hits that skip step, it's going to move him upfield even further, and he still has to turn that corner. And so you can basically see he's behind Burrow at that point. So again, I know it'd be great to see him get the strip sack there. I saw a lot of people commenting about that online, but more importantly, pass rush win, and obviously creating a forced incompletion, and almost a strip sack. So we keep moving here, Oweh on the right side of your screen, and we're going to see the same thing. And this leads to the Russell Wilson interception to Marlon Humphrey, which is essentially what let the Ravens get back in this game. So again, similar move. He's going to threaten, he's going to threaten upfield. And right there, he's going to push down almost the same way he beat the right tackle on that other rep. A little bit of that almost Oweh thing there where, we're hoping for a sack, but at least it comes away with the pressure causing the interception. Back on the left side. So we're going to see him again. So when I talk about other reps where he's setting up those pass rush counters, so you're going to see a lot of reps like this where he's going to bend the edge and run around the arc. And that's exactly what he's doing here. You can see that hand goes out because he's trying to do that. He misses it. Mims does a really good job of carrying him around the arc. Oweh stays in pursuit and gets the QB hit with Kyle Van Noy. So good to see him kind of continue there. But that's kind of the type of rep I'm talking about, where he's continuing to play to set up those inside pass rush moves by carrying vertically. Keep moving on here, left side of your screen. And again, same concept. He gets chipped by Chase Brown there, comes back inside, gets the QB hit. So, I mean, 2 of those QB hits in this Bengals game are kind of lower quality, I'd say, because, the one came once Burrow started to scramble. This one's coming as Burrow's starting to scramble. The pressure really comes from Travis Jones and Kyle Van Noy pressing that right side, but Oweh comes back around, but still looks good as he's using those to set up these other high-quality reps by pressing up. See right there? This is where we get into this is typically, when I say dead rushes, this is kind of what I mean. But what he does here is as he sets that up, you can see that inside arm really push through to cave in the pocket. So what will happen is if he tries to engage the offensive tackle's anchor and he doesn't get enough push, it looks like a dead rush, right? Where essentially the tackle drops anchor. This one, he caves in the pocket a lot better. You can see he pushes Dan Moore back quite a bit and then gets in there for the QB hit. But this, I would need to see a lot more consistent in his bull rush is him getting that knockback on the offensive tackles. But really good power here. Speed to power conversion is great. Knocks back the tackle, forces the scramble out, forces a throwaway, and then gets the QB hit. So really solid rep there from Oweh. But kind of you can see the difference in what he needs to do to avoid the dead rush versus a solid pass rush win. Outside left here against that right tackle again. And there's going to be that inside stunt. Brody just isn't able to turn the corner, but this is what Oweh does so good in line games. You can see the explosiveness to come in and set the pick on the right guard. See right there, completely look like he pulls the right guard and right tackle completely out of position because again, he's setting up those outside pass rush moves. So you can see the right tackle react. He gets out wide really quick, and then as he presses inside, the right tackle chases. If Brody could have turned the corner and had a little bit more agility, this is a sack for Brody, but he just misses it. If that was, Travis Jones, Michael Pierce, I think there's a lot better chance that Michael Pierce, big boy, but does turn that corner quite well. But you can see, again, the way he can work in line games, and that's something I'd like to see out of the Ravens defensive line a little bit more, is using those stunts because it creates those easy pass rush looks. Keep moving here. So Steelers are going to roll out the pocket. His number one job here is to maintain the edge. He moves outside, and this is where Steven steps up. You can see him in the middle of the field here, and they step up, and basically Oweh and him share the sack. So PFF didn't chart that as a sack for some reason. They both were kind of the player that touched him down by contact. But as you can see, it wasn't really a quality pass rush win. It's good pursuit. It's good to get after the quarterback, especially when you go from setting the edge to coming back to the other side. So all that's really solid football play. But in terms of pass rush, I guess it can be a sack in the stat book, but doesn't really look like a sack. It's more of a chase down tackle. Back on the right side here, and again on that stunt game, and this is where the almost Oweh nickname comes from. So he's going to penetrate inside extremely well. He crosses the face of the right tackle and the right guard. He just can't get the sack there. But the way he penetrates on some of those stunts, such high quality stuff. I really would like to see the Ravens do more of it. Here again, this is just going to be a solid scheme play here. So they're going to do play action with some pulling guards. He's going to work inside the tight end, doesn't get anything on him. And he's so explosive upfield that he forces that ball to come out, forced incompletion. And then this one, the pocket gets caved in by Travis Jones, but then good pursuit by Oweh to continue up. You see Travis Jones going to push that. Oweh gets after it, and another QB hit. And he just was all over Burrow in that game. So that's what I'm seeing from Odafe Oweh. So I'm encouraged with what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot more of a pass rush plan, which is really what I want to see from him. I want to see that pass rush plan continue, which I think is the most encouraging thing. So let's see how he can continue. Let's hope that he can kind of stack these performances and keep the pressures high. So if you guys enjoyed this breakdown, if you're excited about Oweh, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here, and thank you to DNL Tinting for sponsoring this video.